We all want to share things that we like and things that we despise with all of our hearts, or sometimes you just wish to express your own opinion on the internet. That is why there's a thing on TikTok called the rant community. But as of now, this community has been so deplorable to a degree I've never witnessed firsthand, and as of now, it might be the worst community on TikTok that I've seen in long, if not ever since I stepped on that platform. If you've been a fan or viewer of my videos before this, you might notice that the usual soundtracks I've been using for some time, which will be Tissue from Beastie's episode 7, are absent. This is because today I'm using a faint, simple free domain audio because I don't think using those soundtracks will be appropriate to the type of topics we are going to discuss, since all of this involves real people, and when I mean that, I mean mostly teens aged 14 to 16, which is also around my age. Still, for people who don't know me, I'm Stellx, real name Stella, and today we'll discuss a community so revolting for a simple concept such as ranting that I myself have no idea how we could get to this point. I'll be as serious as I can. I'll try even with a thumbnail, but to be honest, I don't really have an idea on how to make a thumbnail about a serious video without looking too much like the average thumbnail of a Roblox drama channel. I tried to look at some tips, but this is all I could do, so for that I say sorry in advance. If you had advice when it comes to serious thumbnails, I'd gladly take it. But now, before we begin, we have to be warned because we are going to include topics such as rape, suicide, murder, school shootings, and more. So, if you are uncomfortable with any of these topics, please leave. Otherwise, we can actually start the video. The rant community on TikTok is often referred to as the slime rant community. This is because of the format most ranters use today, which came right after the Roblox rants. Basically, you get some of those slime ASMR videos, put a layout and text to speech with words on screen while you can talk about something. What I mean with a layout is that you usually take some dividers and decorations, usually from Pinterest or Tumblr, get a character, a watermark, sometimes your pronouns, put the background music, and you're done. Here's your rant. You can choose any character to represent you, even one of your own or your persona. It can be either a single PNG or a bunch of sprites that change based on emotion if you want to, or if the amount of content of your character lets you do so. You can choose literally anything. I've seen people using OP characters, digital circus characters, cookie run characters, alien stage characters, Lego Ninjago characters, and everything else you can think of. If you can think of a character, eventually there is or will be someone who uses that character as a sprite for a rant. Some of you will use a custom name, while others will just go using the chosen character's name to be referred to as their rants. It doesn't really have to be exactly like that though. Some people use mini cooking videos or speed paints as their background, and some don't use text to speech but their voice instead. It works like every single community. It's actually similar to our commentary community, with the only difference that it's studied in short form content instead. There are many people. They have their own trends, they inspire each other, they have those big popular ranters who influence everybody else, and then their own controversies. If it was just that, we wouldn't be here, but in the past few months, things shifted so fast I can't believe myself it did. And they did for the worse. I've been watching ranters since last year, but really only had the concept of the community there between January and February. Everything looked as normal as it could be. Yes, the war people got into controversies, and we had what we could refer to as situations or drama depending on the seriousness of what was happening that day. For example, we had Mirans. Don't look at the name because there are many Mirans. Whose stakes were so bad and just discriminatory that it was a new one each day with that renter. But overall, most of the time it was just people ranting or having nothing but good arguments with each other. But then, everything started to get worse and worse. If I'd want to put a point in the timeline when everything went wrong, it will be with Renter Madness. For those who don't know, Renter Madness was a series made by Popular Renter Sunday, where renters will share their hottest takes and people will vote for which one was the hottest of them all. Even if many are the other criticisms towards this new series, everything was going relatively smoothly. That was until another ranter, Geology, shared their take, which wasn't taken well. The take was that the death penalty was wrong, which many would agree, but the reason specified in the outtake was that people deserve to live with the words "I don't care if they kill people or if they assaulted kids." At least it was overall that. And people rightfully were weirded out by it. So, backlash came for both Theology and Sunday for what happened. And this wasn't really surprising for the people who were already skeptical of the series, as they had predicted that, with the nature of it, this event was just bound to happen eventually. Geology then put up a statement explaining her side. The claims were that she didn't believe the penalty was right because she believed criminals should just be locked up, and that she worded things wrong, even if this new claim does go against what she stated in the first place. Now, did she mean the apology? Was it only damage control? Was it really a hard take that got worded wrong this badly? Well, we can't read people's minds, so we'll never know for sure. Maybe she was sorry, maybe she was just doing damage control, maybe a bit of both. The answer will be different for each of us based on the information we currently know. After this, both Sunday and Jay were ostracized. Ranter Madness got cancelled. Both of them responded to multiple things and took a break that lasted a day or maybe a few. Many already disliked Sunday for the small controversies she got into, which we're not going to go through all of them, but this only resurfaced every other grievances people had with her. It didn't help that then Geology came back to talk about a schoolmate committing where she talked about how harassment causes this, which she is right, but people took her as her using this person's suicide as a way to make people feel bad for herself. Eventually, more came out. Allegedly, the group chat of Ranter Madness was leaked and another popular creator, Rina Rants, was revealed to have said bad comments towards other ranters. Then Lily Rants, yet another popular ranter that had nothing to do with this whole mess, had a very rude take towards Therians that got them enough backlash to leave. And I have no idea if they're back or not, but you get the point. The thing is that, after Ranter Madness, even without being involved in the series or the original situation, every popular ranter of the time was getting cancelled. Yeah, for, of course, things that can be criticized, but still, people didn't understand what was going on, and frankly, I couldn't either. It was like a massive purge happening, and every big creator became a victim of it. Now, I have to remind you that these people are young. I'm not sure how old Lily and Rina are, but Jay and Sunday are 15 or maybe 16 now, and the former two are definitely around that age as well. Of course, they should be criticized for their wrongdoings. They might be minors, but they should know that what they are doing was wrong, and they have to learn to take accountability before becoming adults, or they'll be stuck in this cycle. Accountability isn't magically learned after turning 18, but still, some people were truly getting too far with the harassment. Now, I've seen Sunday of my FYP and she's just making the usual videos and apparently even doing an art contest now, while Jay got into even more scrutiny, still based on the original controversy, after both her and her viewers kind of kept dragging it. Well, she keeps going and coming back. In fact, on April 21st, as I'm adding this to the script, she quit for like 12 hours on the 20th before coming back. So overall, Sunday seems to have overall moved on while Jay is still stuck in it. Well, I've heard nothing new about Lily and Rina, so I guess we'll leave it as that. But yeah, every pillar of the rant community had fallen in the span of 2 to 3 weeks, even less. Which is not something that happens often, which of course left the community in shock. Then there's Pouty, but with all the videos I've seen about her, I can't help but get more and more confused on what her deal is about anymore. I was at one point thinking of just skipping this full arc, but I believe it's needed for the sake of our timeline. Basically, for everyone, she was known for calling out popular creators. She was there doing the Sunday and Geology fiasco. Then people hated her for that because it was all her content. Then they switched up to defend her again. Honestly, I was left very confused by this sudden switch up, but I digress. Then she made a video about sprinkles we'll talk about more later, saying she didn't deserve the fame she's gotten. Then she was accused of saying the slur, which is a slur against lesbian, in a live stream. She claims to have said neck, but if I'm being honest, I have a hard time hearing what she has said because everyone is kinda screaming at each other. But I'll leave the clip here to draw your own conclusions.
Nobody knows you, Giselle! I'm sorry! I'm sorry! Nobody knows you, dirty dyke asshole! Shut the fuck up!
Though, I also have to include that not only the word neck makes no sense in the context of the live, but she also had a video of exposing herself where she admits to have said the F slur in the past.
Exposing myself before I become famous. Disclaimer, I'm not a perfect person at all, but that doesn't excuse the things I said or did. I've said the F slur multiple times, but I have nothing against the LGBTQ community. At the time, I was young and immature. Not that it excused my behavior, but I just want y'all to understand where I'm coming from. Alright, so this one time I got invited to this Xbox party because I killed this gay person in the game. When I joined that party, it was multiple gay people in it. They said I sounded black and kept calling me the hard R. And other names I cannot disclose on TikTok. At the time, I was either 15 or 14. I got on their level and called them the F slur, and I was arguing with them back. Do I regret saying it? Fucking right. I take full accountability because I could have easily left the party and been the bigger person instead of going to their level. I was no better than them, and I might lose followers for this. And I fully understand because I will have followed somebody if they said a slur that's very offensive, and I'm truly sorry for those who I offended.
Of course, I believe that people can change, but I think it's relevant to know considering they have origins from discrimination of queer communities. Well, with they have origins of discrimination of queer communities, I mean both the words. I worded the script wrong, I apologize. Another thing she's being criticized for is for her immaturity when being called out, which everyone can be immature, but it's hypocritical for many considering most of her content is about calling others out and for them to take accountability. She called out people like Sunday and Geology, and the thing is that while they are 15 to 16 years old, of course not justifying their wrongdoings, Bodhi is 18, pushing 19 as a word, which is technically still a teen since 18 and 19, but still a legal adult that should at least have a bit more maturity compared to a 15 or 16-year-old. Then there was the venting to a 14-year-old and maybe a 15-year-old too, but it's claimed that one of them was Poddy's friends and they were both venting to each other, but I do not know much about this situation to actually make an opinion about it. There will be another claim, but I can find the video where I heard it and I haven't seen proof yet. There was an account tagged where they claimed to have proof, but I couldn't find the video on said account. To be honest, as I've said, this whole party thing has left me very confused as there is noise everywhere to the point I was thinking of leaving the whole situation out. So, I'd really advise you not to take everything I've said here at face value and research the situation yourself before drawing conclusion. This should be done with everything I'll talk about. But this situation brought scrutiny towards other ranters and exposures, causing another small purge in the process. But we won't really mention them because if we keep going this way, then this video is never going to end, and they are not really important as of now. So we'll get into the next part of the community's disgusting behavior. What I mean with ranters introductions, I mean that it's when someone is making a first video to introduce themselves in the rant community. Instead of being a simple, hello, my name is this and etc, they slowly got a bit more creative. I don't exactly know who was the first one to ever do it, even because it will be pretty difficult to trace it back. But the one that popularized this practice was Sprinkles. Yep, we're finally talking about her again. Her introduction video ended up going way more viral than anyone could have ever expected, making her garner 60,000 followers in a matter of days. Now she stands at over 400,000. Truly a dream come true for every TikToker. Everyone will pay for who knows how much to be as lucky as her. Reminder that she started her account in around mid-March. There are many who dislike Sprinkles because they believe the glad wasn't deserved and she doesn't even rant. Checking their account almost all her videos are rants, then it doesn't really matter. Not gonna lie, seeing all the people saying she doesn't even rant, I expected to see less than almost half of her total videos like 2 or 3, but I digress because this is really unimportant for the rest of everything we're talking about. Like her or dislike her, I guess it's your opinion. But seeing 30 videos a day for a week of ranters saying the same thing about her over and over, with really nothing new to bring to the table, and then acting like they're saying a hot take or they are being so brave and heroic to finally say it, does start to piss me off eventually, you know. What is actually important to say is that after she went viral for that introduction video, more people started to make these creative intros more. And at first, they were all fun and dandy, nothing to worry about, until they weren't anymore. The first video of that kind that I remember happening, or at least being noticed, was about surviving a school shooting with MLP characters, and the layout was found in a locker of a change room when they were hiding from the shooter. I guess it's fitting considering what we talked about in our previous video, but we digress. Of course, I hope you all understand why using such a topic for an introduction is insensitive. There is no other way to explain it. How did this even come to mind in the first place? In what world you made the whole video and posted it without thinking, maybe this is bad? Or am I kidding? Of course they knew, they just wanted to rage bait people, which, spoiler, doesn't make this shit any better. And they knew that too. The thing is that they don't give a shit about how others feel, especially the victims of such atrocities, as long as they get the pretty negative attention. Seriously though, is this negative attention really that good? Because I genuinely don't get it. So yeah, other renters called this atrocity out for a while and everything seemed to be going back to normal. I thought it was a disgusting piece of crap that used such a serious topic to ragebait, and after this, hopefully nothing like this would have happened soon enough. But once again, I was too naive. In fact, the people who were seeing this whole thing unfolding felt a little bit too inspired to be also pieces of crap, and more went down. This is also where real people are involved in the process of these revolting videos, and we'll start to get a bit too descriptive, so be careful. The first 2 out of the 4 intros I can remember seeing being talked about involved another ranter named Cherry, who runs with Gacha Sprites. In the first one, Cherry kills herself by an overdose. Sunday finds her and reads the notes she left for the other ranters, and one of them is directed to the ranter who made the video. Now tell me, in what world is this normal or should be normalized? Yes, Cherry is known to a gacha character, a persona, but she's still a real person behind that. Have we collectively forgotten that? Or does anyone here just don't care? Also, I heard that the ranter went out to make transphobic and fatphobic rants after that introduction video. So yeah. Then the second one, which still involves suicide. The difference is that instead of being Cherry committing, it's her father, still by an overdose. What makes it even more disgusting is that Cherry's father did actually commit suicide by an overdose. This was something she confided in with her viewers, and this was the response she was met with. Now, is it possible that they had never seen the video and it was all a coincidence? Hard to believe to me, but I guess there's still a chance. But it doesn't really change anything, does it? Even if this ranter didn't know, even if Cherry didn't share this sensitive information, or even if her father had never died in the first place, making a video about someone's parent, or even just anyone in general, killing themselves for a rant introduction video is weird and should not be done at all. The third one involved Geology instead, but instead of being the victim, she's the one to rape the creator's avatar. And it was also kind of graphic. Listen, Geology did shit that can be criticized, we all know that, but making her a rapist? She's still a child, 15 to 16, and yeah, people that age are able to do this disgusting act, unfortunately. But why would you make a video of a child raping you? Yes, it's not the real her, she used her persona, which is Jay from Ninjago, but still, you know exactly what that character is supposed to represent in this video. And then there's the last one I've seen about Sprinkles herself, where basically she runs away from home, She ends up in a alley where she gets gang raped. She goes to the roof to end it all, but then she gets pushed by the first creator of the video. I don't even know what else to say because everything I could say was already explained in all the other introduction videos I described. But what? I won't rank which one is worse or lightest between all of these intros because I think we shouldn't scale them. But this genuinely got me in so many ways. Also, call me dramatic, but I can't help but feel that this also has some racist undertones, whether they were conscious or subconscious about it. I even saw an extra recently when I thought I was done with it, but I can't do this anymore, so I won't talk about it. I think the number I gave you is hardly enough to see the gravity of the whole situation. Hopefully, the description I made you understand what you should understand. The simple idea of me downloading those videos makes me feel even more disgusted than I already am. So let's just jump to the final part before concluding. In fandoms and communities, hate and harassment is rampant, especially on TikTok, where this whole rant place resides. But here, you're done just by breathing. So many rants are just filled with dozens of people saying, it's not that deep, this is not a rant, this is not a hot take, this is what and whatever. Which, even if they might seem like nothing, they're still forms of hate, especially when they come in masses and they bring no actual constructive criticism towards the creator. It's strange to me that it's not that deep comment is so rampant in a community where the whole point of it is talking about things and opening discussions with people. Why are you in a community about engaging in topics and opinions when you refuse in doing so and just dismiss everything no matter the actual severity of what the rant is discussing? Like, if you think it's a nothing burger, you can just go and watch something else, and maybe if you refuse to engage in topics this much, you should just leave the community, because it's clearly not for you. Another wall hate train happened when it was a trend to shit on neopronouns, which usually involved taking a video from that one TikToker who explains neopronouns, in where one of these neopronouns are actually explained, and just say, bro, what does this mean? Why? Who uses this? My pronouns are USA. Like, no debate and no seemingly invitation to an actual discussion and willingness to actually learn about the topic. I do remember that person from the time I was 11, when I was ignorant, and took my opinion from other LGBT members who batched neopronouns on YouTube, because I thought they knew better than me. After all, they were part of the community. And they were always used in those videos. Now that I'm older, 15 to be exact, and stay more on the internet, I realized that I should have never listened to those people. Most of them were either hypocrites or grifters who go against part of their own community to receive the ounce of validation from right-wingers to appear as one of the good ones. No need to bash each other, guys. They hate us all the same way. Let's not make it easier to split us apart. And another thing that I've learned growing up is that if you have no idea about a topic and are not part of the group of people that is involved, do not participate in the discourse. Watch from the sides and maybe you'll learn something new that is actually valuable in the same moment. I don't try to say my own about lesbian discourse because I am not a lesbian, I'm omnisexual. Simple as that. In the end, it's said that this person is probably receiving a lot of harassment, but because of these old videos and the new ones are surfacing. Because actually they seem like a nice person to be around with. Definitely way better than the other people we are dealing with in this video. Listen, I get that if it's your first time hearing about it you might not understand or remain confused, but that doesn't give you the right to invalidate it. There's a lot that I'm still learning myself. I'm still learning about xenogenders, neopronouns. I don't think I have grasped the whole topic yet, but that doesn't mean I should just invalidate you and call you attention seeker because I don't fully comprehend the topic yet. So yeah, the rant community will hate you for anything, harass you for anything, and invalidate either your identity, your feelings, or any topic you're trying to share or spread awareness with that they'll deem as not that deep. More often than not, it's a hive mind in search of the next person to go after. The harassment is getting so bad that not only people are quitting, but worse. I will probably go more into detail usually, but due to the fact that this situation I'm implying is recent, messy, both sides are genuinely insane, and to be honest, it will be best for everyone for to move on for the sake of many people's mental health. I will not talk about it. Even people who claim to be friends of the person involved said that they'd rather the whole thing to end instead of being dragged, and said the creator has already left the community and possibly the internet for the sake of her own mental health. So, we'll just leave it as that and conclude. Not going to lie, I'm asking myself if this community is even salvageable. This whole thing is made by minors who end up harassing each other, a few young adults that also end up harassing more minors, and people being disgusting towards real people and who clearly refuse to engage in situations with the calm and rationality it needs, despite being the whole reason this community was supposed to exist. I can't believe that no authority has been involved yet, considering what we've been through, because, if I'm being honest, these people are mostly kids, but I'm really starting to feel we need at least an actual parent stepping in soon, because the only few adults are only fueling the fire more instead of actually educating the kids. Maybe letting people so young be in the faces of the whole community is not the best idea, which might sound hypocritical since I'm a 15-year-old in the commentary community that hopes to get a platform, and well, we've seen what happened to minors here as well. But if I become famous before turning 18, don't see me as the main face of this community. Stick to the ones that are older than me and actual adults. I know there aren't many, but stick to them regardless. They probably know better than me anyway. But yes, I said everything that needed to be said. It surely wasn't really nice to go through personally, but I still wanted to talk about all of this since I thought it was important. At first, I planned to make a video only about the revolting introductions and end it there, but everything else that happened and was happening at the same time may encourage me to actually make a whole video in general. Before we go, I have a few things to say, even if they're unrelated to what we've talked about today. First of all, this video shall be released on April 35, if everything goes well. For those who don't know, this is a very important day for my country. On this day, 81 years ago, Italian partisans who had sacrificed everything for almost 2 years and finally defeated the Nazi fascist forces holding the country in Milan. That is why we call it Giornata della Liberazione. Let this be a reminder to always fight for freedom and never forget what those monsters did. 3 days after, on April 28th, will be the day where the dictator of the fascism, Mussolini, will be killed alongside his lover and many other officials and then hung upside down in Piazza Loreto, Milan. So yeah, hang your local fascist like a salame. Technically, this is the last commentary video of the month, but not the last video in general. I plan to make a video on the 30th of April. In said video, we'll discuss on new plans and updates for the future of the channel as I'm growing. We'll talk about ideas, possible schedule concepts, and videos I'm planning to do in the near future. I would have talked about all of this in there, but considering the importance of both tasting and the fact that I didn't want to take too much attention away from the video's topic, I'll make a smaller separate video instead. I still wanted to let you know so you won't be surprised if you see a random notification popping out on Thursday by me. Make sure to be there, right? And last but not least, this wasn't even supposed to be part of it, but it seems that this Thursday there was a very strong tornado in Enid, Oklahoma. As far as I've heard, there were no fatalities. Luckily, but the damage was still significant. I have no idea if by the time this video is out, the tornado will have gotten its ratings, it is currently being analyzed. But as of heard, it's preliminarily a EF4 as EF4 damage was calculated in the rubbles. Anyways, I wish a good and fast recovery for the community of Enid and everyone who is being affected by tornadoes as we're speaking. Just be careful, alright? Tornadoes are interesting as a topic, but having another EF5 eventually is not worth the idea of a new documentary by the next 5 years. And lastly, pray for West Asia. I know everyone's worried since fuel is running out and ever, but in the end, those who are having it worse are the civilians affected by the bombings. And the ceasefire should be over by now, so it's just going to be another rough time for the people. Please stay safe and let's pray for this to end as soon as possible. And the same goes for every area of the world dealing with serious problems right now. Well, thanks for listening till the end. I hope I've pressed online about this whole thing, but as of now, see you next time. Stellx is out for the day.